Okay, let's discuss about the poet first. I'd ask you to go through, search from the net and tell me something about the poet, Shirley Toulson. Yes? Yes? Apart from
I
Akarshita?
searched about her. There's not too much about her, except she writes about historical countryside things and all.
Yes,
There's not much information about her.
she wrote about the social history of the countryside, and she had been writing about it right from 1974. Okay, and who else wants to give the answer? Yes, Kiran. Kiran,
Good morning, ma'am.
good morning.
She's having a huge passion of writing, and she was great influenced by her father because her father was also a writer. She was a poet, she was a teacher, she was a journalist also, and she's died at the age of 90.
Yes, she was born on 20th of May 1924 in England, and she had a huge passion for writing and was greatly influenced by her father, who was also a writer. And apart from being a writer, she had also been the editor of many magazines. Okay, and like Mehak said, she had been writing books on the social history of the countryside since 1974. Okay, this is about the poet. Now let's move on to the last line, which I asked you to go through. There are various poetic devices used, and we had discussed alliteration, and we had also discussed personification. Now another poetic device has been used there, and that was paradox. Can you explain how? The last line, it's silence silences. Yes, Akarshita. Akarshita, you can elaborate upon it.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, so basically, paradox means when two statements which are contrary but are placed together, and practically it seems impossible for them to make any sense. But if we dig its deeper meaning, then only we can understand its true meaning. Over here,
Yes.
it's silence silences. So if we look closely, it doesn't make any sense that silence is silencing something. But if we
Yes.
dig down the deeper meaning, it means that वहां पे इतनी शांति थी, इतनी खामोशी थी कि उस खामोशी के अंदर भी एक weird type of silence was inherited in.
Yes, yes, you're very right. And a paradox is a statement that is actually self-contradictory, and sometimes it appears to be logically unacceptable. Also, Kiran, can you just mute your mic, Kiran? Yes, thank you so much. So it is logically unacceptable too, but here it can be true at the same time. And in this particular phrase, silence silences. You know, it was the absence of the mother that silenced the, uh, the poet. And silence, if you just look at this word silence, it itself refers to an act of being silent. So how can silence somebody? So here we are not talking about silence, we are talking about that circumstance. And what circumstances is that the death of the mother, and the death of the mother had such a great impact upon the poet that it left a void in her life, and she was not able to express it in words. So if that ways it is correct also, it is true also, but logically it appears to be unacceptable. So that is paradox, when which in simple terms means self contradictory. Okay, a situation or statement that seems impossible, or it is very difficult to understand because it contains two opposite facts or two opposite characteristics, or self contradictory statement, which might be logically unacceptable but at the same time appears to be true. So this is paradox. Okay, so can I even just summarize the poem, and then we move on to the questions and extra questions. Can anybody apart from Akarshita summarize the poem? Akarshita was not even there the other day in the class, and many more students had. Yes, Anshika Vansal, just summarize the poem. Actually, it is called. Actually, it is pronounced
Ma'am,
as poem. Just a moment, Anshika. It is pronounced as poem. It is not poem. But we've been taught from the very beginning poem. तो वो हमारे मुंह से poem ही निकलता है. But actually, the correct pronunciation is poem. Yes, Anshika, बोलो.
The poem here represents us that poetess is telling about her mother when she was a young girl of about 12 years. She went to a sea holiday with her two cousins and an uncle, and she is describing it using a photograph that they were all smiling and how they were enjoying. And now after 30 or 20 years later, when the photo was snapped, her mother used to tell her tell the poetess stories about those photograph and all, but now she's dead, and the poetess is very much reviving the point when her mother used to tell her about those stories.
Yes. Okay, anybody else who can just add on to it? Anybody from the class? Yes, very good, Anshika. Anybody who can just add on to it? Yes, Akarshita.
Ma'am, so over here there are three stanzas in this poem which represent three different stages of time. Over here, the first stanza represents the time when the poetess wasn't even born, and the poet's mother is experiencing her own childhood and her on holidays with her cousins. The second stanza represents the time when the poetess mother and she was there, and they were reviving and reliving those memories through the photograph. The last stanza depicts that time of the period when a poetess mother is dead, and the poetess is reviving and being sorrowful and remembering her mothers, and that's all, ma'am.
Yes, so there are three different phases, there are three different stages, as very well explained by Akarshita. Anything which is left out? Who would explain both Rai with the labored ease of loss? Because this was the question that came up again and again the other day when we discussed it. Both Rai with the labored ease of loss. Who would explain this phrase? Yes, Diya Narang. Okay, just hold on, Diya. Sudhir Chaudhary. Sudhir Chaudhary, bolo bache. What is this phrase? What does it mean?
Ma'am, the poet's mother is happy in the photograph because she is on holiday at seaside. The poet is happy to see the laughter of her mother in the photograph. But at the same time, they are sad because they had parted with each other for many years.
Okay, so what is Rai and what is labored ease in this context? How would you explain that? How would you explain both Rai with the labored ease of loss? How would you explain these terms? How would you fit in these terms into the answer? You're very right, whatever you said, perfectly right, but how are you going to fit in these terms in the answer? Yes, Sarabjot Singh. Sarabjot?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, Rai means both disappointed and amused.
Yes.
And
Bolo, bolo, bolo.
and ma'am, labored means that they have achieved with hard work the rest and the peaceful state which they have achieved. Like the poetess mother has, she's feeling peaceful after seeing her old memories, but at the same time, she is sad also that she cannot relive those moments. And the poetess is happy to see her mother happy, but she is sad because she has lost her mother.
She's sad because she has lost her mother and she cannot. Yes, Kiran, you want to add on something? Bolo. Bolo. Kiran Chandra.
Yes, ma'am. Her mother is disappointed because her laughter is her history, and her poet is disappointed because her mother is no more, and both of them are disappointed because they both, whatever they want, that thing is not with them at present.
Yes. So it's the other day, as I told you, it's oxymoron, labored ease, and as it is, this Rai also is it means bittersweet memories. It's again a perfect example of oxymoron only. So both of them are experiencing mixed emotions. The mother, when she looks at her photograph, she feels happy, and but at the same time, she knows that she cannot get that time back because time never returns. And the daughter, when she looks at the photograph of her mother, the mother is laughing in that photograph, but she knows that that laughter cannot come back because her mother is no more. Okay, so memories are that is, dry can also mean twisted. It can mean some kind of a distortion. It can mean something which is twisted or something which is bent. So memories are basically twisted by the sense of loss, and you have to accept this reality with a tinge of difficulty. Okay, you have to accept it, but there is always a lot of difficulty in accepting the reality, like the harsh realities of life like this. Okay, let's discuss some of the questions of your textbook. What does the word cardboard denote in the poem, and why has the word been used? Yes. Okay, somebody asked me a question, hold on. Somebody said, ma'am, can you explain the difference between paradox and oxymoron? These are two entirely different poetic devices. Whosoever asked me, I just forgot the name. I just read it, but I just forgot it. So these are two entirely different poetic devices. Oxymoron is when two opposite words are placed consecutively. For example, labored ease. Now, what is labored ease? Labored is something which we do with a lot of difficulty, okay? Which carries the meaning difficulty in it, and ease is something which you do it very comfortably, ठीक है? तो दो बिल्कुल opposite words हैं, वो consecutively एक के साथ एक होंगे, ठीक है? Like I said, bitter sweet, ठीक है? bitter का मतलब आपको पता है, sweet का मतलब, so these are two opposite words which are placed right next to each other consecutively in a phrase or in a sentence. That is oxymoron. But paradox is some kind of contradiction, self-contradiction. For like we did that silences, that is not oxymoron. That is what is that? That is paradox. And how is it a paradox? I just explained it. I just explained it in the class today. How is it a paradox? Somebody else has to respond who has not answered earlier. Akarshita, you have already given me two answers. Yes, Divyansh. What is a paradox? How is it a paradox? Divyansh, I'm waiting. The others are also waiting for you to respond. Okay, Mehak Kaur. Mehak. How is it silence? Silence is a paradox. Mehak, Divyansh says there's issue in my network.
Yes, ma'am.
हाँ जी, महक बोलो.
Ma'am, so paradox is a logically self-contradicting statement, or a statement that runs contrary to one's expectations.
Yes, and it might appear to be unacceptable, but it is true at the same time. For example, if you look at the word silence, silence का मतलब क्या होता है बेटा? What does silence mean? Silence का क्या मतलब है? What is silence? Silence, yes, being quiet. It is an act of being quiet. So how can silence something else? Okay, without any sound. So how can silence something else? So that is why it appears to be logically unacceptable, but it is true at the same time, because here in this phrase we have Praveen Kumar in our class. In any of the sections, Praveen Kumar, do we have? Just say yes or no. Praveen Kumar hai beta koi? Yes. Okay. So it's an emotion, and we're talking about that circumstance. And what is that circumstance? The death of the mother. So death of the mother has silenced her. It is not the silence which has silenced her. Okay. So that is why it appears to be unacceptable logically if we look at the statement, which it appears to be self-contradictory and unacceptable, but it is true at the same time. So that is a paradox, and it is totally different from oxymoron. I hope that you've understood it now, whosoever asked the question. Clear hai bachche ab? Just say yes or no, whosoever had asked it. Okay, then let's discuss the question. What does the word cardboard denote in the poem, and why has the word been used? Lavnish, you didn't go to school? Lavnish, aap school nahi gaye?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so what does the word cardboard denote in the poem, and why has this word been used?
Ma'am, the word cardboard stands for the frame that supports the borders of photograph.
Yes, a photo frame that supports the border. Okay, fine. Or something which is just mounted, a mounted kind of a photograph, so that it remains for a longer period, so that it becomes slightly durable. Okay, and why has the poet used this word? Yes, anybody else who can give the answer to the second part? Shubhangi Sharma, 45 roll number D2.
This word has been used to refer a practice in the past when photographs were pasted on cardboard and framed with glass front to preserve them.
Yes, and it has a deeper meaning also, like we discussed the other day. What could it mean? It has another meaning also, a deeper meaning. Something related with durability. Yes, Medha Agarwal.
Ma'am, basically this word cardboard has been used because cardboard, as we know, it is very temporary, and this poem basically talks about the temporary nature of our life, how the
Yes.
life like just goes away, whereas the nature it just stays. Because the
Yes.
example also it's given
Yes, life is,
in
it
terms
talks
of
about the transience of life and the permanence of nature. So that is why cardboard, because it is itself is not very durable. So because of that lack of durability, we have used, the poet has used this word. Next question says, what has the camera captured? What has, yes, Shubhangi, what has the camera captured?
The camera has captured the three girls, the poet's mother and her two cousins, Betty and Dolly, in their swimming dresses, with the poet's mother in the middle and the two cousins on either side holding her hands
Yes,
and
very
walking
good.
with the feet in seawater.
Yes, and while the three of them just stood still, holding their hands and with their hair just strewn, just scattered across their faces, the uncle had taken the photograph at that time, and they were just looking. They were smiling through their hair. They were just looking innocently through their hair. Anything which anybody wants to add on? Add on to this, Polo?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, the camera has captured some happy moments from the childhood of the poet's mother. It was seen taken from a beach where she had gone with her two cousins, Betty and Dolly, and her uncle for a sea holiday. The girls were paddling in the water and
Yes.
holding the hands of poet's mother when the uncle had clicked the photograph.
Okay, anything else? That is why I asked you. This we've already discussed, Bache. If anything else, anything is left that you can, there's no need to repeat the same answer again and again. If anything is left, then you can just add on. Okay, what has not changed over the years, and does this suggest something to you? What has not changed over the years? Arindat. Arin?
Ma'am, the sea has not changed over the years.
And what does it suggest to you then?
Ma'am, it suggests that that nature does not change much, whereas human beings come and go.
Yes, men may come and men may go, but like in the poem Brook, the book says, "I go on forever." So nature is everlasting, nature is perennial, but human life is transient. It is temporary. It is short-lived. So we also change with our growth. We change, but the objects that are there in nature, they never change. They remain the same. Okay. Next is, the poet's mother laughed at the snapshot. What did this laugh indicate? The poet's mother laughed. Tanisha, 51 roll number.
Ma'am, this laugh indicated her joy at remembering an incident connected with her past life
Yes.
when she was quite young and free from the tension and worries of life.
Yes. And what did this laugh indicate? What is it indicative of? Happiness,
Her joy.
Her joy and happiness. Okay, what else? And why was she so amused? Why was she so happy? And why did she find it funny? You need to add on. Yes, Ananya Arora. Ananya?
That laugh basically indicated that she was reminiscing about that day they had at the beach and the memories that they had, but that laugh was kind of empty because she knew that she could never get her past and her childhood back,
Yes,
so
very
it
good.
was kind of mixed emotions.
Yes, mixed emotions, and she was feeling amused at one point of time, and there were mixed feelings, mixed emotions of sadness also, because she knew it that she would never get that time back. Yes, you can go, Harshdeep Kaur, if you want to go. Okay, so she's amused at the way her parents had dressed them up for the paddling, and because with the passage of time, with the fashions changing and new fashions coming up, those kinds of clothes also they started looking funny and quite out of place. Okay, Next is, what is the meaning of the line? Both we have discussed it n number of times. Both rhyme with the labor deeds of loss. Okay, next is, what does this circumstance refer to? What does this circumstance refer to?
Death of
Rajdeep Singh, Rajdeep.
poet's mother.
This circumstance refers to poet's mother? Death of her yes, it refers to death of poet's mother. So it has created a kind of a void, as we have discussed, in her life, and therefore there is a lot of, she's surrounded by silence and she has no words to express or to share her feelings. The three stanzas depict three different phases we've already discussed, and Akarshita had elaborated on the three phases. What are they? Okay, yes, Divyansh, can you just repeat the answer? The three stanzas depict three different phases. Bolo.
And the first stanza depicts the childhood of poet's mother when she was enjoying holiday on seaside. The second stanza depicts the period when the poet's mother has grown older and laughs at her own photograph. The third stanza depicts the time when she has died and poet misses her.
Yes, that she is no more and the poet misses her. So you can elaborate upon all the three phases. Let's discuss the question that I had given you for the assignment. The questions. The first one is, the cardboard shows me how it was when the two girl cousins went paddling, each one holding one of my mother's hands. This is RTC, reference to context. And she, the big girl, some 12 years or so. What does the word cardboard refer to? We know. Who was the big girl and how old was she? Who was the big girl, Rajdeep, and how old was she?
Ma'am, the big girl was poetess mother and she was 12-year-old that time.
Yes, and how did the cousins go paddling with mother? Raise your hands. Yes, Diya Narang, how did they go paddling with mother?
When the poetess mother and her two cousins went paddling, that means to had a walk at the beach. They held on her mother's hands and smiled at the uncle who clicked the photograph, and the sea washed their terrible.
See, it's just reference to context, Diya. You need not write such a long answer for this. Reference to context means you get a question for just 1 mark. Yes, Shubhangi Sharma. Shubhangi.
Her cousins accompanied mother by holding her hands when they went for paddling.
Yes. Okay, next question. Next is, read the following. Let me just try and share it once again. Just give me 1 moment. Till it opens, we'll read on the next extract. All three stood still to smile through their hair at the uncle with the camera. A sweet face, my mother's. Yes. Now is it visible to you? Ab to dikh raha hoga beta?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. A sweet face, my mother's, that was before I was born. Who does all three refer to here?
Ma'am, in the above extract, all the three refers to the poet's mother and the cousins of and her cousins.
And her two cousins, Betty and Dolly. Where are they now?
Oh, yes, ma'am. Dolly.
Where are they now? Somebody else? Somebody else? Any volunteer? Give the answer.
Ma'am, may I?
Yes.
Ma'am, over here, where are they now? Are they, ma'am, representing to the present stage or they're representing to the past stage only?
They're we're talking about the present stage now.
So, ma'am, through this we know that the poetess mother is no more, and we do not know about the two cousins.
We do not know about the two cousins, but they're not there with the poetess. But her mother is no more now. Why did they smile through their hair? Yes. Why did they smile through their hair?
Yes. And because it was very windy when they went out on the beach.
Yes, when they went out, it was a windy day, maybe because of the beach wind. So they, their hair was just scattered across their face. It was just strewn all over. So that is why it appeared as if they were smiling through their hair. Next stanza, read the following extract. A sweet face, my mother's, that was before I was born, and the sea, which appears to have changed less, washed their terribly transient feet. Where was the mother?
Ma'am, may I?
Yes.
Ma'am, the point is, ma'am, her mother was dead that time.
And when did this incident take place?
12 years ago.
In her childhood.
Just be clear about what you're saying. When did this incident take place? And where was...
In her childhood.
Yes, the incident of this beach holiday took place in her childhood. So would you have... where was her mother? The answer would be her mother was dead or something else.
Ma'am, may I?
हाँ बोलो.
Ma'am, her mother was on the seashore with her cousins and posing for the photograph.
Yes, so here we are not talking about, it is not mentioned in the question, just read the questions carefully. It is not mentioned where was her mother now. So we are talking about the context is this, a sweet face, my mother's. So we are talking about the sweet face of a mother in the photograph. So so that time is the time when she had gone to enjoy that beach holiday with her cousins. And how is the poet able to remember her mother's childhood? How is she able to remember her mother's childhood? Through the photograph, her laughter and everything is there in the photograph. What has stood the onslaught of time and what has not?
May I?
Yes.
May I?
Somebody has not answered, because if you're saying may I'm not able to see you people, and because you're not visible to me at all while I'm presenting this PDF. So if you're saying may I, only that child should respond who is not answered before today, at least today. Okay. So what has stood the onslaught of time and what has not? Bolo. Anybody who has not answered before? What has stood the onslaught of time and what has not? Very simple question.
The sea had stood.
Yes.
The sea had stood the onslaught of time. It is still the same.
Yes.
However, her mother underwent changes. Her mother grew up to be an adult and now she is no more.
Yes. So next is some 20-30 years later, she laughed at the snapshot. See, Betty and Dolly, she'd say, and look how they dressed us for the beach. Who would laugh at the snapshot after 20-30 years? How did mother remember her past?
Through the photograph.
Yes.
And by seeing the snapshot.
The photograph. And who were Betty and Dolly? Everybody knows.
Mothers.
They were the two girl cousins of the. So it's only reference to context. Plus we have. Yes. Now it's okay. Okay, so if there's anything that you would like to ask me from this poem, can anyone just comment on the title of photograph? Can you justify, can you talk about the appropriateness of the title? Comment on the title or justify the title of photograph. Yes? Nakul Bisht? Nakul, can you justify the title of photograph?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, the title, as the title suggests, a photograph. The poem is all about a photograph which remembers the poet about her mother's childhood.
Yes.
The photograph is a medium of joy as well as sorrow. It was a medium of joy for the poet's mother when she was alive.
Yes, very good. When she was alive, she would often look at that photograph and she would find it very amusing. She would laugh at the photograph, but now she is no more. But if the photograph is still there, and whenever the poetess looks at that photograph, she feels a lot of nostalgia about her mother because the death has created a great void in her life. Her mother's death had created a great void in her life. Okay, so therefore and it brings back a lot of memories. Yes, Akashita, you're very right. So photograph plays a very significant role, hence the title is justified. Okay. Next, do we need to do, yes, all the textbook questions. Yes, you have to do all the textbook questions plus reference to context. Okay. So that is all about this poem. And the next time we meet, whenever some new content is shared by the department. So in the meantime, you have to complete the questions, the textbook questions, plus all these questions of reference to context, and send me your work latest by Thursday 5 p.m. Okay. Let me just take your attendance, and you can think over anything that you want to ask.
Excuse me, ma'am.
हाँ बोलो. इशिता.
मैम, यस मैम. मैम, जैसे इस पोम का टाइटल अ फोटोग्राफ है, तो हम अनदर सूटेबल टाइटल क्या दे सकते हैं इस पोम को?
आपको कोई ऐसा क्वेश्चन नहीं आता बेटा, थिंक ऑफ अनदर सूटेबल टाइटल, ऐसा नहीं आता क्वेश्चन सिर्फ यही आता है जस्टिफाई द टाइटल, दैट व्हाटएवर टाइटल इज गिवन टू यू. और अगर आपको कोई टाइटल देना है, दैट यू हैव टू थिंक ओवर द टाइटल योरसेल्फ, और यू कैन से मेमोरीज और एनी टाइटल यू कैन थिंक ओवर. यू हैव रेड द एंटायर पोम. Okay, you can think over the title, because you would be asked to think over the title for note making. That would be there, but in your literature you're not asked such questions given other title to the poem. You are always asked to justify the title of a poem or of any chapter of fiction. Okay, such questions are there. Fine.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
So that is all for today. Have a nice day.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, bache, okay.
Thank you, ma'am.